Hi little cuties, Mila here. How you doing? Let me know down in the comment section below. As always, today I have here with me Tigger and Teddy sitting right beside me. And I got a question from a viewer. They basically asked me how to wet your diaper. So I decided to make this video of how to wet your diaper for beginners. I initially wasn't planning on making a video, but I decided since it would be a long answer, I might as well make one. And I was able to think about many points throughout my APDL lifestyle that I've discovered along the way that might be able to help you, so stick around. Before we start, I actually noticed that a lot of you are not subscribed to my channel, so if you do like my content, please leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe in the button down below on your right hand side, and make sure you have your notifications turned on so you never miss out when I do an upload. Okay, let's get started. Number one. Get it? Number one. Okay, so the question I got was from Ryan. Hi Ryan. And he said, I subscribed and liked with notifications on for your thumbs up dot, I guess, content. Thank you Ryan, I enjoyed the video and that hoodie is so cute. Thank you, it's on the background. I'm new to the APDL community by the way too. I am about to start wearing diapers too, and I was wondering if you may be able to give me some advice to be able to naturally be able to mess and wet my diapers. I'm still used to using the toilet, so I know it's going to be hard on me using my diapers at first. Crying face emoji. Okay, there goes my phone. Okay Ryan, so number one is, in terms of wetting Ryan, or for anyone watching, I would say the way that worked for me was if you squat down when you put the diaper on and try to go to the toilet naturally like that. Be patient as the first few times that you try to attempt that. As you say, it won't be easy, a little bit weird, and the flow of urine may stop and start, but that's natural. Just be patient with yourself and it will work out eventually, okay? Next step is to stand up and try to do the same. It's easier if you stand still and try to pee that way. Don't try to walk or sit down because that's even harder to do. Then if you try to do the same when you lay down flat in your back and try to go pee that way, I would say sitting and peeing or walking and peeing are the two hardest parts that I found on how to wet naturally or how to go to the bathroom. And to this day I still find that personally for me, I still have the urge to go and I can control the urge. But when I'm in diapers, it's an easier urge and I just let go. So sitting, as I said, will be one of the hardest, or walking and wetting. Just be patient with yourself and take your time. Don't expect to be able to do it, all of them, all of the above. And particularly sitting for me, I'm still not able to completely do, and that's completely fine. Just do what's comfortable for you and take it from there. And the more you do what's comfortable for you, then slowly try to bring the new versions of wetting, I guess, and just have fun with it and take your time. Side note that I did find, and this may sound really weird for most of you, if not all, and that is, I found that taking some cold water and putting in your diaper will make you go. I do not know why, I don't know how, what the reason is, I just know it works. It worked for me and past friends that tried it, and yeah, I don't have any explanation. It just works. There you go. That's a side note, or another point if you may want to take note of. Now, let's go on to messing. Now, messing I don't really do. However, that's not to say that I haven't tried it. I have tried it before a couple of times, and from experience and knowing a few tricks that I learned along the way, here's all my suggestions. You can pick and try, or try all of them if you want. So some of these are safer than others. In terms of messing, I found that suppositories work. So Glycerol or Glycerin suppositories, and also oral saline laxatives are two of the safest of suppositories slash laxatives that you can use. And they basically work by just drawing in water from your intestine to the fecal matter or your stool or your poop, whatever you want to call it, and they start to expand in a way, and your intestines have receptors on them and they can feel this pressure and bulk on them, and they react by contracting. So the muscles, the receptors notice this and tell the intestinal muscles to contract, therefore enabling you to go to the toilet. So the one that I mentioned about Glycerol is one of the safest of the suppositories that I found. Other ones might be very irritating or may have worse side effects and are not the safest to use, I would say. Both of these you can purchase over the counter in a pharmacy, a supermarket, depending where you are. And in terms of how long they take to work is from half an hour to 3 hours. Now, if you're going by an oral saline laxative, because you take it, so oral meaning you drink it or you pill form, it's going to probably take at least an hour, because if you eat something, usually takes a couple of hours to 3 hours at most to digest. So the same applies to oral laxatives. You take them and they go through all your gastrointestinal tract to your intestines and eventually to the outside. So the oral ones will take a while. And basically the oral saline laxative is the same as an enema, but instead you're drinking it instead of irrigating through the back passage. Okay, now the upside/downside of each is that the Glycerol will be of a faster action, but that only applies if you already have fecal matter in your intestine ready to be expelled. And the suppository will only go far up from your rectum up to the last portion of your large intestine. Okay, now if you take an oral saline laxative, it's different because you'll drink it and it will pass through all your gastrointestinal tract, from your mouth to your esophagus to your stomach to small intestine, large intestine, and the outside, simplifying it a bit. So that will accumulate bulk and fecal matter or stool or poop. So there are downsides and upsides to each. If you want a faster action one, go for the glycerin suppositories, but do bear in mind that it will only work if you already have fecal matter in your intestine ready to be expelled. On the other hand, if you want to wait a while, just take the oral saline laxative and that'll probably take a longer time of action and may be more helpful to you if the Glycerol one doesn't work. I wouldn't recommend using both at the same time, and depending if you wait already or haven't, it goes from hand in hand. Now, if you find your pain or that your stool is hard to pass, I would recommend a stool softener / lubricant type of laxative. But because the two that I mentioned are the safest and they work by just drawing in water, which is harmless, they will probably moisten and soften the stool anyway. Another way to mess is by taking, and if you're old-fashioned you may know this and may like this, I came to know this through forums and discussions and actually Wattpad stories, and I do have a science background, but let's not go rambling into another dimension. So castor oil is a type of laxative. It tastes horrible from what people have told me, and I believe them. But if you're old-fashioned or you want to try it, go for it. Or if you have tried it and don't mind the taste, or you can mask the taste somehow, that's another option for you. So now, one of the safest and most accessible ways of going poop is basically by drinking coffee. Caffeinated, of course. So that's the one that I've done and works for me, even if I don't want to mess, which is never. And eating fiber, so plums and grains and stuff like that, along with the coffee, takes around, not really long, 30 minutes for it to work for me, 30 to 1 hour, and I'm ready to go to the bathroom. Okay, if you just eat fiber things along with the coffee, plus if you put the Glycerol suppository, that'll just be instantly, but I think it will be a bit of a mess to clean up after. Now, Enemas is basically like the oral saline laxative, but instead you irrigate it through your bottom or your back passage. Now, I wouldn't recommend that if you're starting out and as I don't have experience with them personally, and I don't want you injuring yourself, okay? Finally, do bear in mind that what works for some people will not work for others the same way, but don't despair. The fun of it is by experimenting, see what works and what you're comfortable with. So there you go, that was how to wet your diaper for beginners by me. And thank you, Ryan, for the question, and thank you for subscribing and turning your notification bells on. Now, two things that I will mention before you go is that I also did, this is for you, Ryan, or whoever is watching as a beginner, is I did a video on tips fitting your diaper better, which I will link here or up here, whichever way it is, to make sure you don't leak when you do wet and mess your diaper. This is a tip and trick that I found for myself, so go ahead and click if you would like to check it out. I also did a few videos on a couple of Abdl brands of diapers that I have tried. I have tried a bit more, but I still to do a video on those. They will be on my playlist on this side. You can click and check them out if you're up for it and if you'd like to see if you're starting out. Now, if you're in the budget and you're not comfortable spending a lot, and it's quite understandable, and don't want to go straight into Abdl brands, I recommend you trying LilleHealthcareSuprem Fit Max or Maxi, or Form. I have tried it and it's one of the best diapers out there, non-Abdl brands, and it's a good value for money that I found, which you get a pack of 30 for roughly £10, give or take. If you're based on the UK, you can get them from nappiesrus.co.uk, or Amazon also sells it. And finally, if you're starting out, there's a forum worldwide for every Abdl, little, age aggressor, incontinent. Anyone in the Abdlism or not community is welcome to this forum. It's called Adisc.org. I'm there as LittleCutie Abdl. You can follow me, you can add me there as a friend if you want to. And there's various discussions on Abdl brands, types of diapers, people's experience with being incontinent. And I found great comfort in finding that forum. So add me there as a friend if you'd like to. So yeah, thank you for watching as always. A heads up, this is why I told you in the beginning, make sure you are subscribed and turn on the notifications bell down below, as my next episode on the Types of Little series is arriving on my channel very, very soon. So yeah, make sure you do that so you don't miss it. Alright, take care of yourselves and of your little side, and I'll see you little cuties next time.